really into cooking.
Yeah.
Just a bit of everything. So I'm a very curious person, so I'll try and do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Mark from Ability Links here. I'm a support coordinator and recovery coach and proud founder of Ability Links. Just here meeting up with Nina today to talk all things AAT and just waiting on a lovely coffee from the guys at the Rosie Lee here at RLA.
Morning, Mark. Cheers. Thanks for
Nina.
the tea. Lovely. Nice and hot. So we're here to celebrate the opening of the new office, I hear.
Yep.
How exciting is that?
Oh, I'm over the moon. It's in a perfect spot in Windang, just near the bridge, right next to the fishing shop and a brilliant cafe, Odang. So looking forward to meeting people there and making some new memories.
Are they making coffee better than here?
I don't know, like we could always have a tasting day and put it to the test.
Now, Mark, as a self-confessed workaholic, that's true, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
What do you think the driver is behind that behaviour?
Oh, for me, having a disability, often I do tend to overcompensate. There's a lot of things I can't do. The things I can do, I try to do well. And I love supporting other people with a disability. If I see something that's detrimenting opportunities for someone, I go into bulldog mode and I'll research it. I'll come up with a system or a method to like address that issue, even if it's like working till 2 a.m. in the morning. You know I'm not lying.
You're not lying. Do you think there's any negatives of being a workaholic? What's been that impact on your life?
Oh, well, I do get stuck in the bunker a lot.
Yeah.
So it's my little man cave slash office.
There is sunshine, you know, sunshine and...
Oh, I'm a bit white in the skin, aren't I? Yeah.
Any other downsides to it?
Oh, well, I don't get out and meet a lot of people. So I'm not sort of a really outgoing person, but I think that's another trait of autism. But...
And there is something different about you. Your hair.
Yep. So October, it's Autism Awareness Month. And a lot of people, they sort of have misconceptions about people living on the spectrum, and myself as someone that was just recently diagnosed, I've come to understand a lot about myself and other people within the autism community. And I'd really like to use the blue hair as a talking piece to talk about some of our positive traits.
All right. While you're talking, I'm just going to eat your bacon and egg roll.
Well,
Yes.
thanks for that.
I'll just carry on over here. Munchy, munchy. In very broad terms, can you explain what employment supports in an NDIS plan actually are and how best to utilise them?
Employment supports, the funding that helps a person to maintain their employment, but more specifically in relation to non-performance based tasks. So that could be things like helping someone with a physical disability to open doors, to get things out of cupboards. Say it's someone that struggles with their mental health, it could be someone that helps with prompting or accessing the community. I think there's no sort of best practice in regards to using employment supports because it's an individual support. Everyone's going to be different. I don't think it should be something that should be a cookie cutter mold. We've all got different aspirations and abilities, and employment supports used well should mean that a person has the ability to utilise all of their potential and to be able to work towards their goals. That's the whole aim of the NDIS. to help people to achieve goals, and I think employment is often a really big part of that.
Would you like a donut, Mark?
I suppose I could add it
Just
to the
to
cash.
wet your whistle before we roll on into the next question. Look at them. They're from Yachty's in Wollongong. I'm going to take the first bite. Grab one.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Looks like they barely fit it in there.
there ain't nothing I can't fit in, don't you worry. Do you think, Mark? Hang on. So good. Oh yeah. Do you think people with disability are adequately represented in the workforce? And if not, why not? What are the barriers?
I think a big barrier, I suppose, is public perception and lack of knowledge of what supports are available. I know in the very first planning meeting that I had for myself, like I struggle with different things as a part of the job and having a physical disability, and I asked an LAC what sort of supports were available, and I was fresh to the scheme at this point, and they told me that the only option was ADE, and for those that aren't familiar, that's Australian Disability Enterprises, or what used to be known as sheltered workshops. And the LAC suggested that I should be shredding boxes and like maybe answering phones. That's the only option that the agency was going to offer at that point.
Do you think having a disability holds you back now?
No, I think it's helped me to like understand other people's barriers to a greater degree, and it gives me a greater drive to get results. For me, it's not a job, it's a way of life, and that's the type of culture that I've tried to push through the whole team at Ability Links. When we've like faced these sorts of barriers personally, we're less likely to let it stand for other people.
Now at this point, I normally would do outfit of the day with Mark, but Mark is not wearing exactly the most colourful outfit today, so I'm not exactly sure what we're going to look at. But I have noticed one interesting point: the walking stick. Can you tell me about your walking stick, Mark? That is unique.
Oh well, I like to play around with like little intricate things, and one thing that I like to do with the little spare time I have is make custom walking sticks. So I 3D printed the base and put the Ability Links logo there on the end. So we're leaving our mark wherever we go. And
why an octopus?
oh, for me, like I've always had a bit of an affinity with octopuses. They're adaptable, not often well understood, and they can fit into places that others can't. I'm not saying that I can, but they make things work.
You feel misunderstood?
Yeah, sometimes.
At times?
Yeah.
When was the last time?
Oh, I don't know. Like I myself, I'm in a weird spot because I have a physical disability and a developmental disorder, or autism, and I get stuck between both of those communities. And then when you're dealing with the able-bodied community, you can really face judgments from all sides. Sometimes you're too disabled for one group, or not disabled enough for another. And there's a lot of comparisons that take place that I don't buy into. I just try and collaborate with people and get good results.
I'm dressed very colourful today in my rainbow frock, and I brought along some capacity building Play-Doh. We're going to do some theraplay as we talk through the next question. Mark, would you like the pink or the blue Play-Doh?
I think I'll go with the blue.
And why did you make that choice?
Well, I think it fits.
Okay. All right. So in my last, that actually feels good. That feels spongy. Look at that. Oh yeah, she's spongy. She's soft but firm. Now let's try and get it out. Oh. So in my last NDIS plan, I did not receive employment supports, and I've had to go to the AAT, the Administrative Appeals Tribunal, to address this inequity. Oh, look at that, squishy.
Oh.
So, can you talk me through the process that I had to go through? Like, would you like to explain that to everyone? Do you need help building your capacity? Would you like me to step in and help you get your blue out?
I think I've almost got it.
Oh, that's good.
You digging in there? I left some behind. Well, you have to think, like, when a person is inadequately funded in their plan, often it's one or two things. One, not enough evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'd say there's a third thing as well. So one, there's not enough evidence. Two, the person that's making the decision misunderstands the need. Or three, it doesn't line up with the NDIS Act. In your case, like, I fully believe that the employment supports that you've asked for line up with the NDIS Act. The problem was that the planner made the decision to make you choose between having employment supports or having social supports, and I don't think that that's a decision that anyone should have to make, whether, like, you decide to work or have a social life. Once they'd made that decision, they basically said, hey, either work or have a life. We did what's called S100, or a review of a reviewable decision. That planner came back and basically said, yep, we want to just agree with what the first planner said. And when we said, no, hang on, we're not taking that, we've had to take it through to a third party outside the NDIA. That's the Administrative Appeals Tribunal. So we think...
What are you making with your Play-Doh today, Mark?
I thought we used as a prop. So, like, let's make this little...
No, I need you to... We're doing some theraplay.
Oh, well, I don't know what to make with it. I'm just, like, stretching it at the moment, but...
Just, how about... What... Name a feeling that you felt today, and then you create something around that.
I think so, just like a Tupperware sort of...
Yep. You're being very, very broad today, Nina.
Broad as the plains, broad
I
as the
don't know what
plains.
to even make. Should I make a little sheet, or...?
You can make whatever you want, my dear.
I'll make a sheet, because sometimes I do feel sleepy and get a bit of fatigue.
Carry on what you were saying about the AO2.
So we've got the first planner, he said no. The second planner that's looked at it, they didn't even call us, and they've said no. And then we've basically said to the NDIA, this isn't good enough, we're going to go and talk to your daddy, which in this case is the AAT.
And was there any barriers to going to the AO2, do you think?
Well, probably all the paperwork. It scares off most people, and the NDIA, they always tend to pay for a lawyer to represent themselves, and for us, we couldn't find an advocate because there weren't enough funded.
That's a bit of a power imbalance. How are you going there with your sheep?
I'm getting quite good. Like, I've got a little tail on him now.
Good, you keep moulding that sheep.
And the trying to access a solicitor, because they felt that you could speak for yourself, they would...
that impression.
I don't know, they must have caught you on a good day. They make these assumptions, these naughty able-bodied people. They've said no, we'll do a consult with you, and had a chat with me and Justine and yourself about, like, what to focus on at the AAT.
Yep.
And now we've presented all the documents that they've requested and position statements, and the agency, I'm hoping, are running scared because they've asked for extra time. Oh, the sheep lost his tail.
Well, keep focus on that sheep. That sheep is important in more ways than I can say.
Actually looks kind of like a dog at the moment.
Am I going to win? If I don't win, what's the potential impacts of that especially considering the fact that my NDIS registration has just come through. Shit, dropped my Play-Doh all over my pretty dress. Catastrophe. And I broke my nail too, by the way. Yes.
Well, if the employment supports aren't funded, I think it's fair to say that it will limit your access to the community, and it'll definitely make it very difficult to run a business. I know that in my case, like without the employment supports that I'd received, and I actually had the opposite issue to you. They funded employment supports, but they didn't fund social support.
Community access.
They must have known I was a workaholic. They said he doesn't need any.
It's not hard to tell.
He doesn't need to get out and see people. He's just going to be locked in the bunker all the time.
Speaking about being locked in bunkers, with having a disability, social isolation is often an issue for many people. So Mark, do you ever feel lonely? And if so, do you think your disability impacts on that?
Oh, definitely.
We're going deep today. We're deep diving.
That's my little sheepy. I do get lonely at times. Like I very rarely get out of my house unless it's really for work most of the time. What are you making there, Nina?
Just keep going with your sheep and let my creative juices flow.
I do very rarely get out. Thankfully, I just got my companion card, so I'll be able to have a designated popcorn carrier at the movies. So that'll help me to get out a little bit more. And I do feel awkward sometimes learning to use mobility aids, so I try to rely on my stick a little bit too much. Only just getting used to the walker. But maybe I'll be able to go to the shops again soon.
Would you like another donut, Mark, before we start?
I haven't even finished the other one yet. I'm too into the sheep making.
I think I'll have another one. So, I was fortunate enough when I went to the AAT to have both a lawyer and a skilled advocate represent me. Is that a rarity, or do you think that's commonplace?
No, it's definitely a rarity. There's often a massive power imbalance when it comes to the AAT. I think the government of the day really likes that. I don't. If I could clone myself, I would. But
it works, doesn't it?
It works. It scares people off. But what they don't tell you is that I think it's in roughly 83% of cases, the agency often, like there's a resolution before the issue even makes it to the tribunal. So before you're sitting in front of like the member, or who's like the judge in the AAT, often the agency runs scared because they don't want other people with disabilities to know what they can access through the NDIS. Once it goes through to the member, everything that's said and like the case becomes public knowledge. Not your name, but the case, so others can say, hey, this is what happened in this case. It's not a precedent, so it can't be used as like an argument, so to speak, but it shows the possibility. So the agency wants to...
He knows his shit, doesn't he? I swear to God, he could talk about the NDIS from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, there's one thing. If at this point of time you feel like you need to press the pause button and go make yourself a cup of tea, you do that. Okay? Carry on, Mark.
So, when we talk the AA about the tribunal at the AAT, they can't make a precedent at that stage, but it does send a message to the wider community. And I know that people in the review of the reviewable decision department, every morning they get a big stack of papers dropped on their desk of recent AAT cases.
How are you going with your sheep?
Not too bad. I finished the sheep. I'm making his little baby, the little baby now, the lamb.
All right, keep going.
those planners or delegates at the S100 level, they get all these documents dropped off on their desk of recent AAT cases, and they get asked to look at the decisions that were made and look at how they can make them better. Not to, like, in a way that's fair to people with disabilities, but in a sense like how they can knock back cases more efficiently in the future.
Well, good thing I'm getting in now before they get to that point.
Yeah, but when it comes to...
Oh, it's fallen over! Jesus, Mark, I was listening to you talk because you're so bloody intelligent. I got distracted and knocked my temple over.
It's a good thing you didn't design Stonehenge, eh?
Now, we're nearly at the end of the year, so tell me, Mark, what's been the best thing to happen to you this year?
Oh, it's hard to narrow it down.
Something that got the pulse racing. Something that excited you. It does sound a bit off, doesn't it, when I say it like that?
Yeah, it does. Oh, I'm a little bit stuck. It's like we've sort of come so far. Like the team's grown really well. Just seeing them starting to do plan reviews themselves, and the training wheels come off. And I think for me though, it's like there's nothing better than doing a plan review meeting. Absolutely nailing it in terms of the supporting evidence, having the meeting over in like 15 minutes and then getting absolutely everything you ask for at the end of it. But when you get the right delegate and the right evidence and all the keys fit the locks, and then you see the results at the end of it, people actually having a good quality of life.
What advice would you give to someone trying to get employment supports in their plan? Evidence, and more evidence.
A big thing is having a really good functional capacity assessment and a good OT on side. Start the conversation with your boss. List out what are performance-based activities and what aren't, and what the barriers are that are associated with your disability. You're always going to sort of be pulling luck of the draw in terms of the delegate that you get in front of. But as far as like I can say, the biggest thing I can say to have on your side is tenacity. Don't take no for an answer. They will try and knock it back.
Oh, I like that passion, Mark.
They don't always understand the barriers. And there's nothing like...
When I hear you talk like that, I squeeze my Play-Doh hard.
Oh, like, it's funny. Like, people, they see employment supports as giving like an unfair advantage to a person with a disability in some cases. Which,
how do you mean?
well, like, you always get that whole comparison argument taking place between the able-bodied community and the people,
Have employment supports helped you?
Definitely. Like, if I didn't have people to help me, like, with some of the physical barriers that I face, and someone there to like help to drive me if I'm fatigued, or if I literally can't get out of the house myself at that point in time, like I have a...
You wouldn't be where you are today.
I wouldn't be where I am. Like,
and what does the future hold for Mr. Marcus Peaches? Where do you see yourself in the next... We're going to aim for 12 months. The next 12 months, what do you...
Well, we've just crossed the bridge, so to speak, and got the office at Windang. And
Windang Road, Windang.
yeah, it's just up from Computer Town. And I'm really hoping that we can start to break into some out there group programs. We're just about to start a 3D printing group, helping people to 3D print other things with that help people with a disability, like good old walking stick bases, fidget spinners, and we're shortly after that going to be launching our fishing group.
Ooh.
So we're hoping to collaborate with a local boat hire company.
Oh, you mean actual fish?
Actual fish.
Not like a dating thing?
No,
Oh,
it's
because
not
I just went
plenty of
immediately
fish.
to fish of the day.
Who knows? There might be a dating thing happening in the future, but love on the spectrum.
I would personally fill out the application form for you to be on that. Lovely to catch up with you today, Mark. It really was. What have you made with your therapy clay?
Well, I think it's like a ram,
Why? Why did you make a ram?
because they're a stubborn bloody animal, and I can be stubborn at times too.
Okay.
And then I've made a little kelpie, just going roof, 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 up the back there.
Oh my God, his head fell
headlights.
off.
Quick, we better fix that. Trigger warning.
Well, I'm going to take your ram. No! Oh, that's a horse.
Actually, we could probably make
In we go. He's going to have a drink before he goes in. No! Oops, shit.
Can't fit.
Can't fit.
Needs home mods.
All right, he's in his stable. What else have you got, little kelpie?
Okay.
Thank you. Shit, the head fell off again. It's like The Exorcist.
We got a possessed dog.
Where's my shit? My sheep. Every kelpie needs a sheep. There we go. And we parked on the back.
What has your dog been watching? Look at an asteroid.
Cheers, Mark. Thanks for coming along today. Done. That was good.